Good evening, campers, and welcome aboard the Starship Nightwish. I'm Commander Exorcist, and another week has passed by. Welcome to Talk O Tuesday. This is my weekly Elite Dangerous show where I pick an article from Galnet and talk a little bit about what is happening in the galaxy, kind of from a lore perspective, or just however I feel like talking. So we'll be here for a few minutes, and we're moving away from the direct influence and the discussions about the Thargoid War, the massive invasion of aliens that's going on and where millions of people are missing and we don't know where they are and what's going on. And, well, we're moving back to the things that really matter in life, like politics, because there's a Federation election going on, and that's really important. And this article is sickening. I've read a little bit of it, and on the surface, it's just another political article about the Federation election coming up. But there's a sick and twisted kind of origin to this article that I'll discuss. So we're going to go and we're going to have a little talk about Calico Zach. That's a pretty cool little moniker they came up for our buddy Zachary Rackham. And so basically what's going on is you've got Zachary Rackham, who is a candidate for Federation president. And it's not enough that, we're having an election in the middle of a war, but we've still got this kind of political hit stuff going on. See, that's why I guess I'm no worse than anybody else, I guess, but this is one of the reasons I would never go into politics, because when you go into politics, they dig up everything, like everything you've ever said or done. Stuff that you can't remember from like 15, 20 years ago that someone's recorded or someone's found. It's just insane. Like when you were young and stupid and you say things, it's just really insane. I couldn't do it. I really couldn't, because I've said some stupid things, I'm sure, as a younger guy, and I would not want that coming back to haunt me. So it's safer to move forward and not do the politics thing. But Calico Zach, as they're calling him here in this article, he's got kind of an interesting history. Zachary Rackham, he comes from money, and he's the big, I want to cut taxes, I want to eliminate taxes, but I still want to have this giant federal infrastructure, and he hasn't exactly explained how he's going to fund that. And so, but he was a pirate for the longest time. So, Zach was running this, pirate operation, stealing cargo and moving illicit goods. And so, he probably thinks of himself as, Blackbeard of the 3300s. And so, anyway, what this article is just a political hit piece, because, he's running for federal president, and you've got these people, they've got to dig back as far as they can. And that's what this is. And we're going to go through this article and talk a little bit about it, and we'll see what's happening with Zachary Rackham. The case against Calico Zach. I like that. Financial journalist Bryanna Blanco has renewed her investigation into Zachary Rackham, seeking to invalidate him from the federal presidential race. Wow, how real life seems to run parallel to our fictional universes at times. 30 years ago, people. Do you know how much life can be lived in 30 years? There are plenty of people that don't make it 30 years. That's how long ago this happened. 30 years ago, the mysterious Calico Jack gained a reputation as a notorious pirate lord. In some backwaters, tales are still told of how he personally led countless raids against cargo ships and passenger liners, which all of them are in the top 1%. Allegedly, there were very few casualties in his wake. So he was a good pirate. Since the pirate always focused on hijacking valuables rather than causing bloodshed. So he's like a pirate with morals to a certain degree. Because there were some pirates that don't care, they just blow your stuff up. That doesn't mean he was right, but it's interesting. As Calico Zach's wealth and influence grew, Archon Delane viewed him as a threat and planned to go to war. This may be what prompted him to abandon piracy. It could be. I mean, you get the attention of the feds. They can send a massive force against you. I mean, yeah, your pirate ships will be good against a 1%er liner out there, or somebody in a Cobra or whatever. But you get Federation resources against you, building up. No, you won't be taking on an armada. He laundered his ill-gotten gains via shell corporations and stock investments, reinventing himself as federal entrepreneur Zachary Rackham. It's I want to go on a tangent real quick because there was an older movie, and it's called Pass the Ammo, and it's about a corrupt televangelist. And there's a scene where the televangelist is having a conversation with this bank robber, and the bank robber is explaining about how they have to constantly steal because they're stealing money and they're spending it. And the pastor asked him, he's like, so you steal all this money and you spend it? They don't have anything to show for all their theft. And so he goes into this speech about how they should steal the money from a bank and invest it in stocks and bonds and mutual funds. And so it kind of reminds me of this, again, Zachary Rackham, he's kind of this gray area guy where he's like, yes, what he did is wrong. He's stealing, but then he's doing a responsible thing with what he stole. So it's odd. It's I don't know. Two wrongs don't make a right, but still, what are you doing, Zach? Since those days, which he now claims were spent as a struggling trader, Rackham has become a trillionaire. He's absorbed companies, funded grandiose structures, and plastered his name wherever he could. Rackham's Peak. Rackham Capital Investments is largely run by former pirate comrades turned businessmen. Hey, these major capital investment places, how many of them are not run by pirates? Let's just be honest with each other at the moment. How many of these massive conglomerates, these capital investment organizations, how many of them are not run by pirates and crooks and criminals? I don't see anything different here, which has led to a few violent resignations over the years. Okay. Rackham's presidential candidacy has inspired me to redouble my efforts to expose his criminal past. No, what it has done, Bryanna, is inspire you to seek out fame and fortune at Rackham's expense. You are a shark, which is what journalists are. You're a shark, and you're looking for the story and the scoop, and you may have one. But you don't care about justice and the right and what is good. You care about getting your name out there, and it's out there. You're going after Zachary Rackham, Calico Zach, the guy who stole from the poor and the rich and made himself rich. I don't know. I don't know how that would work out. I cannot imagine what the Federation will become if he is elected to high office. So if Zachary Rackham wins, there's going to be no taxes. Sea shanties will be mandatory. And everyone gets to wear pirate patches. Sounds like a win to me. It's got my vote. Actually, vote for El Presidente. He's the real Federation president you need. The Federal Times has come under fire from Zachary Rackham's supporters, claiming it is an acting on the orders of his political rivals. An editorial in rival news feed, Sol Today, said, Bryanna Blanco was once a highly respected reporter, but should be facing libel charges for this kind of mudslinging. She's pursued a years-long vendetta against Rackham with very little to show for it, and her articles often recycle discredited conspiracy theories. It's interesting because if Zachary Rackham is everything that we think he is, let's say that Bryanna is completely correct, and Zachary is just this totally, complete, corrupt person who has blown up cruise liners, stolen all this stuff, invested in capital funds, taken over companies, and wants to take over the Federation. Let's just say he's the personification of pure evil. He can make you disappear, Bryanna. All he's got to do is snap his fingers, and Bryanna Blanco is Blanco. Gone. History. But you're still around. That means that Rackham sees Bryanna as a useful tool, a useful idiot, basically. She continues to drum up controversy, which gets people talking about Zachary. When's the last time, and I went ahead too far. I'm sorry, I hit my keyboard. When's the last time we talked about Zachary? For real. When's the last time we talked about this guy? Now that she's investigating him, we're talking about him again. I'm sitting here on a Tuesday night. There's a storm outside, and we're talking about Zachary Rackham again. Congratulations, Bryanna. You useful idiot. You're falling for it, and you're just going along like the rest of them. Zachary's leading you along, and you're going with the bait. So nothing's going to come out of this. A federal intelligence agency spokesperson stated, Mr. Rackham is a long-standing member of the FIA Civilian Oversight Board. Oh, my God. I'm sorry, but even look at that. A pirate lord is part of the FIA Civilian Oversight Board. Crazy. There's never been any evidence that might cause us to open a criminal investigation into his activities. You think? Do you think that Zachary Rackham's going to give you anything to be able to open an investigation? What are the chances of the FIA opening an investigation on a pirate lord who sits on their civilian oversight board? That doesn't happen. I mean, granted, I get the statement. That doesn't do anything to help kind of reinforce my my faith in the system. All right, Calico Zach. Bryanna, you're a useful idiot. But, it's people like you that put people like Rackham in power because he's using you. And, Bryanna will stick around and continue to fade in obscurity, but she'll still be around because obviously Rackham and his cronies see a reason to keep her around. But, yeah. So, I don't know. I'm really not sure where this is going. I had a theory at first that Felicia Winters was kind of like a shoo-in, but there's been a lot of focus on Zach Rackham, and it makes me wonder if he is kind of the choice for the Federation going forward. The Federation led by Zachary Rackham, the former pirate lord, singing his sea shanties as his fleets march into battle against the Thargoids, leading us all to glorious victory. One could only hope. These are the holy disciples. These are the people that make my content possible. I couldn't do it without you guys. I couldn't do it without the people that watch this channel and my supporters, friends. Thank you so much. If you would like to support, patreon.com/Commander Exorcist. I do special videos. There's things on there that I do not share on my main channels or my main social media. So it's an opportunity to get something a little bit special and a little bit of behind-the-scenes access at times. So if you'd like to support, I'd love to have your support. That is it. Zachary Rackham is under investigation by a washed-up journalist. And the war marches on. So, yeah, that's pretty crazy. It'll be interesting to see what Zach has to say about that, which I'm sure we'll be hearing from him very soon. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining me tonight. Take care, fly safe, watch your backs, and I will see you out there. Good night.